Hi guys, alright, welcome back to the channel. We're here today with a MicroKorg, and I wanted to make a video showing you guys how to replace the volume potentiometer on these units. You know, they often go bad and you have scratchy audio, or you have one channel cutting in and out, or one channel just going completely. The pot might be very wobbly. Um, for whatever reason, the volume potentiometer tends to fail quite a bit more frequently than these do. Um, so let's kind of just dive in and get into it. So obviously the first thing you're going to need is a volume potentiometer to replace it with. Um, I now have these in stock in the shop for a fair price. I'll put the link in the description. And then you also need a T6 to remove these two knobs. Don't try and pull them off. You need a T6. There's a screw opposite of this white stripe that needs to be removed. You need a T10 to pull these faceplate screws out. You need a Phillips head screwdriver for all the screws on the bottom and elsewhere in the unit. Obviously, you need soldering iron. Some wick and flux come in handy. You might also want to use a solder sucker. I, you know, have the ZD19 that I use, which is a ZD915, which is a wonderful tool. But you guys don't have those at home, so I'm not going to use that. We're going to do it old school here. So, just one quick bit of housekeeping before we dive in here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Sorry it's been so long since I made a video. I've just been so busy with the shop, trying to stock inventory. I've done a lot of really great repairs. I've actually shot a lot of video, but by the time I am ready to sit down and edit it, usually the item's sold. And it's like at that point, I just move on to the next thing because I've just been, it's a race to try to get the shop up and running enough so that I can exit my main job and make that my full-time job. So I'm just focusing on that. And I know content production is part of that, but a more important component is sales. So anyway, that's going well. And, we've got some really great inventory, and, we've had a lot of really just awesome units come through lately. So anyway, back to the matter at hand here. Let's get into this and just try to go through this as quickly as we can. So first thing I'm going to do is just remove the knobs. Sometimes they might try to fight you. So yeah, these are really tight. You can just use a pair of pliers. Be gentle. You don't want to leave teeth marks, but it's a lot easier just to yank them out that way. Now we're going to be doing more to this MicroKorg. It needs tacks replaced. The keys are yellowed, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to focus on the volume potentiometer. So here's where your T6 comes in handy. Well, more than handy, you actually have to have it or you won't get these out without breaking them. Just loosen it up, and sometimes there's some bit of glue holding it down. I don't know that I actually got that to spin. Yeah, once it's loose like that, there's a little adhesive strip there that holds them in. So get them loose, and then they just kind of come right out. Now the program select knob, this one can be tricky as well. Sometimes just, your fingernails underneath like that will get it out. And then of course our volume knob just pops right off. Next thing we need to do, get a pair of pliers. We need to get these jacket bolts off of these. Now we're going to get our T10 and just zip these out of the way. And there's 3 washers here below those jacket bolts. You see when I lift the faceplate off now, we're going to have 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to snag these real quick. Try not to scratch my faceplate. Now while I have this off, I'm going to clean it. It's the best time to clean this is when it's off. You can't actually clean it properly when it's on. So I'll do that Now there's some screws on the back that hold the main board in place. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so then we've got these screws on the bottom. There's 5 here, 3 here, and 3 in the back. So this is where it definitely helps to have like a cup for each section. So these are short, these are the longest, these are medium. That. Now I'm just gonna flip it over so those 3 screws come out there. There they are, and they were actually the right ones. They were in the right place. The longest ones go there. So the next thing now, we just need to pop this out and just be careful because we need to undo the, oh, there's plenty of room. Yeah, cable's usually plenty long. You just can kind of fold it out like that and then just pop that out. Get this out of the way. And now we've got access to the main board. Now be careful, I'm working on an anti-static mat. I don't use wrist straps because I just keep myself grounded all the time, but you can definitely fry a board, so be careful. If you don't have an anti-static mat, you know, you can work on cardboard or tabletop. Just be careful. I mean, I worked for years without an anti-static mat, but yeah, just zipping through. So the first thing we need to do, let's just get our keyboard connectors. These are just gonna kind of wiggle out. Now this unit actually has some dead keys, so I'm gonna deal with that separately, but next thing to do here, well, I'm just getting one screw out, but we should get our pitch mod wheel as well. That's all connectors. So this is just a grounding screw. I'm just going to fold it out of the way here. Got another one here. And another one here. Now, it's something to pay attention to. Notice that there's a screw hole here, a screw hole here, and a screw hole here with no screws in it. That's because that's what the bottom plate mounts on. So don't put screws in when you put this back together. And the easiest way to remember that is just take out your bottom plate and realize that this lines up there, this lines up there, this lines up there. If you put screws there, you're not going to be able to put your bottom plate back on. And you have to take it apart again. So I know that by heart, but if you don't, that's the way you do it. So let's just go ahead and zip the rest of these out. So sometimes these really want to fight you on the way out. This one doesn't look like it's going to, but let's see. Kind of just gotta wiggle it and all right, so now that we've got our main board out and we've gotten all of our plastic out of the way, what I want to do is get the potentiometer out for the volume pot here. And the best way to do that is, I always find, I just flow a little bit of fresh solder onto the joints. And I'm going to start with the anchors. And I'm going to get the anchors free, which are the 2 large bits. I'm just going to flow a little bit of fresh on there. It just makes getting these out so much easier because the solder will flow. So what I generally do, I'm going to put pressure on the pot this way because I want this anchor right here to start coming out. But the first thing I need to do is just flow it and really give it a good bit of time to get flowed all the way down. Whoops, to both sides. And this can be tricky with 2 hands, but it's doable. So I'm going to let that give it a good bit of time there. And just start walking that out. Now it's not going to come all the way out on the first go, so I'm going to let it stop, and there we go. So I got it a good bit of. You can see I've got it a good start on it, but it's never going to come out all the way on the first try. And don't try it; you'll end up breaking the pad. So same thing on this side. Now I'm going to put pressure on the pot that way. just going to pull like this and get this one out. So probably like this is best. And again, flow, wait, let it really get going, and then it's just going to easily come out. If you're fighting it, you didn't wait long enough. And again, don't try and get it all out on the first try. Just pull it a good bit and let it sit, and now you're going to see we've got the back fairly well out now, but there's still a ways to go. Now it's going to come out. We're going to get this side all the way out and then this side. So let's go ahead and just do the same thing. Same trick. Put pressure on the pot that way. Just pull this one out. Be careful, don't melt your audio jacks. The trick here is to wait and be patient. Wait for the solder to flow all the way through. And that's just going to come right out. And I think that's pretty much free the whole way. It might be, yeah. So I use so much solder that it's still hanging on, but I'll show you how to get rid of that. So, and same thing on this side. And be patient. Let it flow through to both sides. And that just, now it just comes right out. And both our pads are in good shape. Everything is good to go there. So, now we need to get these pins out here. And the best way to do that is to just bury them in solder. It's truly the best way. So we're going to take this here and we're just going to flow one giant blob. We're going to put a piece of wood down here so this stops flipping over on us. And just do one big blob. Just like that. So you can see now I have this like giant blob that's touching all 6 pins there. And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to use these 2 blocks of wood so that I can kind of lift this up a little bit. And I'm going to, how am I going to do this? That's probably going to work like that. I'm going to grab the pot now. I'm going to flow this whole big blob. And just, I'm going to roll back and forth on it and just keep going until the whole thing's flowing. And then I can just wiggle this pot right out. Just like that. Now you're left with a huge, huge blobs of solder to remove. No problem. We're going to go ahead and get our wick now. And a pair of scissors, which right here. And I'm just going to cut a good little strip off. Now what I like to do, works really well for me, is kind of just bury this thing in some flux. Well, not bury, but just get some flux on it. You can use no clean flux. I don't like no clean flux. Like, it's evaporates too quickly and doesn't do its job. I like the dirty flux that's like sticky. It's a lot easier to work with for this kind of thing. You just clean it up with alcohol afterwards. It's just my personal preference. So you could also use this tool, but I think the wick's better, and I'll show you why. It's really just going to kind of come out pretty easily here. So let's get this situated. And let's just flow this, and it's just going to start sucking this up. I'm going to try and pull away. Yeah, let that cool off for a second. Got a big blob of it there. All right, now I want to hold it by that. And I'm going to go ahead and just go hold a hole here and see what we can do. Clean our tip. I'm just trying to get it so the camera can see, but heat that up, let it flow, let it pull everything, and stop. Nice clean hole. Usually by the time the heat makes it up to your hand, you're done. Just had to let it cool off in a second. Do this one, let it flow. Same deal, let it pull everything. Nice clean hole. And we're just going to repeat that over and over again on each hole. The trick is to be patient. You want to just let it heat up, wait till it flows, and then let it pull everything. Pull it away too soon and you're going to leave solder in the hole and then you're going to be sorry. I actually got 2 of them on that one, so got lucky there. This one's really dirty, so I don't know if okay, we will get it. Yep, and we might have actually got both of them again there. Let's see. Let's just give it a second. Yeah, we did. So that's our holes. Let's get our anchors. This will be really simple. Just a lot of solder there. And let's get this other anchor, which is pretty clean. Okay, there we go. And so that's everything cleaned up now. Oh, see how we got a big strip there? Just realized that. So now we want to get our alcohol and a Q-tip and just clean the, just clean up our flux. So I just have a little spray bottle with alcohol, however you want. This is 90-10. Just get the Q-tip end covered in alcohol and just kind of start mopping up. We got a little bit of more solder there. Get that off. And just mop up. Use one end to clean and then the other end to kind of dry it up and mop up what's left. There's one. It almost always takes 2 Q-tips to get it all up. Let me just take a quick look at the other side of the board. It's looking good. So, if you zoom in here, you can see our holes are nice and clean. And our anchors are nice and clean. Maybe it shows on this camera better. Okay, so now that our holes are all nice and clean and ready to go, we're just going to go ahead and get our potentiometer. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to make sure our pins are all in alignment or close enough. And the main thing to do here is just to make sure the pins go into the holes. So you really just want to be careful about that. And then just seat it right in just like that. And that's nice and tight. Now usually it's pretty snug and you can just flip it over and get to soldering from there. So that's what we're going to do. Let's do it this way. This is where a magnifying glass comes in handy. I'm going to go ahead and just pull mine over here. Turn it on, light her up. I'm going to try and work from the side here so that you can still see what I'm doing, but so that I can see what I'm doing. You don't have to have a magnifying glass, but it definitely helps. So I'm going to go with the pins first on this one, and I'm going to go from right to left. Let it heat, let it flow, and then let it go. It's Real simple. There we go, there's two. What I generally do is push on the pin with my iron, a little blob, and then once the pad's hot enough, it just sucks right to it. It's usually the best way. That's the best way for me. All right, so that's our pins. Now let's get our anchors. These you can kind of just bury. And that's one. Waiting for it to flow to this other side here. And there we go, that's two. And it's really that simple. It's not that hard to do, guys. So the last thing we want to do here is just clean up. We got extra flux that comes off once you mount. So I'm just going to go here and clean. I'm going to take a quick look under my magnifying glass just to make sure that it's as clean as I think it is. Yeah, absolutely perfect. So I'll take a photo and I'll show you guys the close-up. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and just fire this board up outside of the chassis. And just to show you, our scratchy volume pot is now gone. And we're going to need MIDI in. And we're going to go ahead and fire this thing up and make sure that our volume pot is good. Power cycle. Turn the arpeggiator off. And there we go. That's it. Volume pot replaced. So, just be careful when putting everything back together, guys. Take your time. It can be frustrating to get the main board back into place. Go ahead and just pop that out. Make sure your light pipes, sometimes when you're working on things, the light pipes will get bent. So make sure your light pipes are all, in the right position. And as long as you do that and you're careful with all these little push buttons, you'll be able to get it back in. And yeah, you'll be back in business. So if you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to me for help. You can always just message me through the site. Or shoot me an email or whatever. I'm happy to help out. Again, the potentiometers are for sale on the website for a fair price with fair shipping. And this MicroKorg will be available for sale once I finish repairing it. We've got to replace some tacks. We got to whiten some keys. We got to fix the dead keys. And we got to see why it power cycles. So, see if it does that again here. I think it's just maybe a loose power port. It probably doesn't power cycle, and that's good. Yeah, it was just the weak link is on the plug into the wall, not the plug into the unit. So don't gotta fix that. But all right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.